When your boiler goes down, it's always real important to make sure you have a rental contingency plan in place. It can save you time, save you money, and want to make sure that you actually have a checklist in place. We're going to be talking to Steve Taylor with WARE, Director of the Rental Division, today on The Boiling Point. Now, Stephen, one of the most important things in a steam plant is actually have a rental contingency plan. Whether it be for like an emergency shutdown, a planned outage, or whatever it is, there's actually some steps that need to be taken so that you can save some time, save some money. Why don't you go through some of those steps for us to talk about that?
Yeah, they need to bring people in that are familiar with the rental equipment, what the size of the equipment's going to be, where you're going to locate it. You got to locate all your utility connections. Steam line, fuel line, if it's natural gas or oil, your fuel pressure, makeup water, what are you bringing back? Are you bringing condensate return back out to the unit? If you are, how much? Do you need soft water? Do you have soft water? Those things. The electrical power, where are you bringing that from? Do you have enough for the load for the rental boiler? The rental equipment's going to be there. One thing that a lot of people forget when they set these things up is the boiler blowdown. Where are you going to take that boiler blowdown? You can't dump it out on the ground. You can't put it out in the driveway or the parking lot. You have to have a place to take that boiler blowdown to, safe connections, where you're going to take that to, what's that going to look like. Other items you need to address that are often overlooked when you look at a rental piece of equipment: inclement weather protection. If you're going to be down in the south, it's middle of July, probably not a big issue. If you're going to be in Minnesota, it's going to go through the winter, you have to take into account freeze protection, weather protection, wind protection, all of those things you got to look at. Even down south, I mean, these units are built to operate outside. This is a totally enclosed unit, it's not an issue. But like our water tube units, they're designed to operate outside, but you still have that control panel, all the electrical power that's sitting out there exposed. It'll operate there fine, but if it starts raining and that unit goes down, your electrician, my electrician, we're not going to open that panel up. Build a simple shelter over top of it just to protect it from the rain, so if there is an issue, they can get into it and find out what it is. Boiler exhaust stack. Where are you going to take that stack to? Or if you're very close to a building, do you have any air intakes? Do you have makeup air unit on top of the building that's sucking outside air in? Is it close to the president's office? If you're at a university, does that professor have tenure that's on that corner where it's going to be located? You're going to make some noise there. If that's the case, you better find another location, because he's going to stop you from putting it there. That's just the way it is. Noise restrictions, again, around campuses, around different universities, they've got a lot of issues with noise, so you're going to have to find a place to where it doesn't make those kind of noises that you're not going to have the issue. Proximity to foot traffic. You can see here, we've got some lines here across the ground. You're going to have those. Eliminate those as much as you can, but make sure you take into account pedestrians. Are they coming from the parking lot to the university, or to your site, to your facility? Do they have to get close to those gas lines, steam lines, water lines? Take all that into account as you go through there. Permitting, it's an issue that all of us have to deal with. Installation, the emissions permits, the operating permit. Go through all of that stuff ahead of time, know what the issues are, address them, have it all into place, all in that as part of your contingency plan, so you know what's going on up front. When you get ready to start that unit up, you've got to release the steam. You can see what we're doing here. We're doing a test on this unit. It's sitting there at full fire. We're releasing a ton of steam through a silencer. At the site, you have the same issue. We've got to be able to get rid of the steam to take that unit to full fire, do a full combustion analysis on that unit. And in order to do that, we've got to get rid of the steam. If your plant can't take it, we have to put in provisions to release that steam so we can take that thing up there and do what we need to do on the combustion analysis. Rental agreement. There's a lot of legal stuff in that rental agreement. Make sure you go through that agreement with your rental supplier, have a master agreement in place. All the legalese is taken care of. You've went through, dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's. Everybody knows what's going on, so that when the job comes down or an emergency comes in the middle of the night, one simple signature, it's already into place, issue a PO, everything gets to moving. Makes things a lot easier. Streamline the process. Take a look at, okay, from the time I make the call until we have steam into my facility, what's that timeline look like? how can I streamline that and make that short as possible. If the plant's down, I mean, a few hours can make the difference between the thing freezing up and you getting your plant back online. You have to streamline that. Check on the boiler availability. If whatever size boiler you're looking at, what's the availability, what's the likelihood of that unit being set in, or one that size close to it being set in that you can use. Transit time. How long does it take me from the time I call you to get it to my site? If it's an oversized load, you got weekend issues, you got permitting issues, you can't move at night in some states. All of these have to be taken into account, and your rental supplier can do that for you. Installation time. Pick a good installation contractor, have them signed up, go through the site, put all your temporary connections in, the electric power, all the things we went over, put all those connections in, and then have him also look at the entire installation process. How long is it going to take from the time I bring that boiler in until I have steam into the facility? Part of that has to be taken into account is the startup time and training your operators. What's that time frame going to look like? Get all of that in place up front, and it will change and save a lot of time in the overall scope of that project. Make sure you have all of your stub outs in place. Steam, water, fuel, blowdown, condensate return. Make all those connections, stub that piping out to where you don't have to do hot taps and tie-ins on line, have to shut lines down during the process when you're trying to install this unit. You will make that as simple as possible. Have all those stub outs in place. You will save a ton of time on your installation.
Well, we appreciate Steven stopping by and talking with us about that rental contingency plan. Make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and share those videos. We'll see you next time on The Boiling Point.